before we jump into the Apple thing, because we were talking about Apple Vision Pro, right before we cut off last week because we were going really long, I just want to ask you a question because I was thinking about this one.
Hmm.
What does it mean to grow up?
What
Think
is it?
about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are like, oh, like sometimes you gotta grow up. It's like,
Hmm.
what does that mean?
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I
Your
think.
thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. So grow up, I guess, is like the change of age, right? I guess.
Okay, you're taking it literally. Okay, okay.
No, but
So
I
I
know, I
meant
know
more
what you mean.
philosophically.
I know, I know, I know. It's like I think it's more like I don't know, just dealing with I guess life. I don't know. It's a very philosophical term, right? So it's when you say it that way.
Yeah. Because if you say
Um,
like age, it's like, well, some adults who are like their mentality's not there
sure.
still. So is that what it is? Like,
I don't know.
is
I think
growing
what
up
do they use?
maturity?
I was about to say that. Like, isn't that like immature versus mature?
Right, right, right. But is that what growing up means?
Uh, Maybe. Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, like, every time you use that term, like, oh, sometimes you gotta grow up, it's always like a jaded aspect. So does growing up just mean you're just jaded by the world?
Yeah. As that is a
Right?
negative
Think
way
of
of
think about
it.
that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I've never heard anyone say like, you just gotta grow up. It's always like, you just gotta grow up. You know?
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. I think as we connected it in that context, right? Maybe it's just like realities of the world. Just that's the reality.
Right, right, right. But are they realities? This is what I've been pondering. Like, what does that mean?
Hmm.
Like what? All right, you know what it really was? It was sparked by no travel from COVID and then going out, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's a whole world out there. I totally forgot about that. And then I was like, I was chatting with like one of my coworkers, and I was like, oh, I really want to go see like 9 to 5 is cool, but it's very boring, right? You know what you're going to get at the end of the day. Your life is going to be that, you
Yeah.
know? Like we build these ideas of structure into our lives because we want to create some sort of order
Hmm.
because we're afraid of chaos, right? But the world is chaos naturally, right?
Yeah.
We're just trying to put order into it.
Hmm.
Things are just happening. And then we build these like 9 to 5 structures where it's like just do your job and like this is the way the world is. Grow up, you know? And then seeing other things is like, oh yeah, there's a whole world outside of a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
There's a whole world outside of like what we think is
Hmm.
like good, you know?
Yeah.
Like I was like on the balcony looking at all the construction and I was like, oh, Canada's kind of boring, man. Like the way the buildings are built and like there's no, I don't know, awe. So that got me thinking about like what does it mean to grow up? Like what like you know? Like settling down. Like what is that?
Mm, I think
That's why I'm going
that's
back to like is it a jading? Is it like you know?
yeah.
Like they were like, "Oh, that's cool.
Hmm.
I'll live vicariously through you." And I was like, "Yeah, no, yeah, totally. I could see that. I could see
That's weird.
people
Just okay.
No, but people do no, but people do that, right?
Yeah.
They like that's what
Yeah.
social media is for.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
live vicariously through the like I'm watching
That's true.
Kardashians.
That's true. Hmm.
I'm not going to be a multi-billionaire like the Kardashians. So I live vicariously through their endeavors,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But like if we are here for such a short amount of time, well, I didn't think I would jump this philosophical in the very beginning, but if we are here for such a short amount of time, it's like, don't you want to play the game
Yeah.
like
That's
as much as possible?
I think that depends on those individuals, right? The ones who are willing to take the risk, right? You have to be able to take those
Yeah,
risks, right? You
yeah.
if you're not going to take those
That's
risks, then of course you're going to be. Well, we want the standard 9 to 5, right?
totally. And I was thinking about this as well. Like, it's funny you said risk because, like I pre-write these like Young Yoda posts, and one of them is related to risk because there's as much risk in like trying as there is in not trying.
Hmm.
Like if you try, there's a risk. If you don't try, there's a risk. You can risk just succumbing to like a 9 to 5. Not that a 9 to 5 is bad. Like we need structure and order. We need money. Like there's a balance. But like if you think that that is all there is, then it's like you're so behind what's really going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, it's like everything. You can be pushed forward by whatever social narrative is going on at the time
Mm-hmm.
because you're following a 9 to 5. It's like, this is what we all believe in, so believe in it right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, that could happen. Yeah, if you don't have individual thought, you're just then following the crowd. You have that's a likelihood to happen.
But,
Yeah.
but I feel like a 9 to 5 is conducive towards following the crowd. So like you are essentially you're essentially going through the motions of whatever the crowd suggests because you are comfortable in that fictitious structure. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we all follow the 9 to 5, like, this is how things must go, this is how order is. Then if I tell you, like, support this endeavor, you're going to do it without question because you're like, well, I rely so heavily on the 9 to 5 that I can't think outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
It makes sense, yeah, but it depends on how the 9 to 5 is structured. Are there regulations, right? Like we used to just work all 7 days. There was no weekends at all.
No, for sure. No, totally. I
Right.
meant like 9 to 5 is an ideology, not literally 9 to 5. I meant it more like following a predetermined path. Like, okay, if this was like a mountain, right? We're going to the top, and then there's like this heavily carved path that like it's paved, everybody walks this road, but we know there's gonna be an earthquake on the mountain. So at some point, destruction might happen.
Yeah.
Right. So if there's a paved road versus like a not so paved road, you know what I mean? It's like
Mm-hmm.
if we follow the paved road, we believe that the earthquake's never going to happen, but the unpaved road is
Yep.
like,
Right.
you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. But that's
It's
a
like there's,
risk
like-
tolerance thing, right? That right there is a risk tolerance.
Ah, interesting. Risk tolerance. So you think that's what it comes down to?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, where you can take your risks, and where you can, it depends on your tolerance level, right? On certain aspects of through life, I guess.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, that actually makes sense. Yeah. Because that is the defining factor. It's like, how much are you willing to put yourself out there or
Mhm.
risk it all?
Yeah.
I mean, like, even me saying that, it's like, well, why don't you just jump off a bridge? And it's like, well, my risk tolerance is not that high.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll jump if it seems like a worthy endeavor.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, like when I got the new tattoo and everyone's like, don't swim. And I was like, well, yeah. And then I jumped in the water because I'm like, I will accept this risk, So I guess, yeah, it really does just come to risk tolerance. You're right. Yeah.
Because
Okay.
sometimes, I mean, like just say for Apple, for instance, right?
Yeah.
To create Apple to where it is now, it's not something that was ever thought of at reach, right? Probably not in
Right.
Steve's mind.
Yep.
Because of the failures that they kept having too, right? You have to be able to also handle those
Yes.
failures to go through those things.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that takes a lot. He has a bigger risk tolerance than most people in that sense. That they would have closed shop where,
Is it risk tolerance or like a belief in your vision?
No,
A
I
belief in
think
where
that
you
comes
wanna go.
into risk tolerance, right? If you already believe that, then your risk tolerance is higher.
Right, totally. So it's like if your belief supersedes your risk tolerance, then you'll take a higher risk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I this was like a very like jarringly psychedelic trip to come back from. Like even just to see like what my dad had built was like tripping me out because I'm like, oh, we didn't think this was real.
Right.
Like we were here in Canada, he was like building something. We're like, yeah, why are you always on the computer?
Mm-hmm.
And then you see it physically, you're like, oh damn, you like believed in a vision that we were crapping on you for. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that was trippy to me too, because I'm like, what is my own risk tolerance? Or like my belief in a vision? Because I didn't believe in this vision.
Right.
And then now it makes you wonder like what other visions can you make reality despite other people believing in your vision?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's like Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that defeats my whole argument. Because I was thinking, like, what is the point of just following the trend? But you're right, it's like risk tolerance. Some people are just not, some people are more risk averse than others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it
Yeah.
depends on how much you believe in your vision or whatever it is, yeah.
To supersede the fear of the risk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
But we only hear, again, it's
Interesting.
like, in reality, it's like we hear only the positive, right? I can only talk about Apple because it was the one that worked. But what are all the other companies that didn't work?
How many other?
That also had certain risks, right? I guess.
Right. But the pursuit of their vision, at least, like, at least they died in the pursuit of
Mm-hmm.
their, like, dream.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is better than, like, dying wishing you had done something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know why this rubs me the wrong way, but maybe like this deconstruction, because you like were right about the risk thing. I'm like, oh, maybe there's like, you have an answer for this as well. But like, I don't know why it rubs me the wrong way when like people want to be riskier and then they don't. Like us, wait, hold on me. So like you
I
are
think I
one
know
of those
what you're
people's
saying.
like no, you know what I'm saying? So like you are one of those people's like no, and a no from you is like no. France is like that too. You know, he's like no, I don't want to do that. I'm like cool, I will respect your decision because you said no, right? But it bothers me. I'm like, oh man, if only I would have, bro, I would have. If I had the, I could have. You know what I'm saying? You're like mother. Oh god, just do it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like the deliberation is very irritating to me. If you said no straight off the bat, no, cool, I'm gonna go do it. You said no,
Right. Yeah.
right? But like, if it's like you see me doing something and then you're like, man, if I could have, if I just, you know,
Now that's
this is not like I know who we're both like I know what we're thinking of, but no, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about.
no. I know.
I had another experience with a very similar type of individual, and I was just like, "What is just do it or don't, bro? You're kind of just holding me back."
I just don't think they have the risk. They might say these things.
But what is that? What is that like in them? It's like you want to do it, but it's like
You like those things, but maybe you don't really like those things. Like you like it. I like, again, I think it's they don't, or they're just too afraid to jump in the puddle, right? It's
okay.
Everyone's having fun, but I don't want to get dirty. I don't, you know what I mean? Or like there's
No,
something holding them
but then
back.
why? No, for sure. But then why be like, if I would have, if I blank, I would have done that.
I think if someone is saying that, they're not in a part of their life that they enjoy, right?
Ooh, interesting. Okay, go on.
If you enjoyed life, I don't see if something that you wanted to do that you would have tried that at least, right? I don't know if it's like traveling. Let's just say a simple thing as traveling,
Okay.
right? Some
Okay,
people
yeah, for sure.
just they're afraid of, I don't know, something happening wrong in that country or something like that.
Right. Okay. Yep.
That's adding to a certain fear they have. They like that you're, oh, it's cool that you're doing this, but something is superseding. There's a fear there. It's much more bigger, right? In them.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. But then, okay, no, that makes sense. But what irks me is when it's like you're like, I would do that, and then you just want to be like, no, you wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, why are we talking? You know?
But I didn't finish the sentence. So I would do that if something like that. If it wasn't, you know what I mean? It's like they're not finishing their sentence.
Do it.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. They're just keeping it to the saying it in a positive way, but they're not really finishing their sentence.
Do you think it has something to do with like a lack of knowledge in oneself?
It could be
Like
that. Yeah.
you don't know yourself enough to be like no. Like you are. If I asked you like, hey, um, let's go get these tattoos, you'd be like, no, I don't want to get a tattoo. Right? I'm like, all right, cool. You said no. But like some people are like, oh, bro, man, I'm gonna get this tattoo that looks like this, like da 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 da. And like 2 years later, you're like, oh, did you get the tattoo? No, I never got that tattoo. You're like, oh,
Right.
like it's almost like the failure of the pursuit is what brings me down. I don't know.
I think it's like the tattoo thing would be like a peer pressure thing, right? Like if do you succumb to peer pressure, then it's not really you,
No,
right?
for sure. But what if it's like, you see me get one and you're like, bro, I'm gonna get this crazy one that looks like this, and then you're like, why are you talking? Because we know you're not gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like that just irks me.
Yeah, those are. I don't. There's like
what is that?
Yeah, I'm
What
trying to
is
think
that
that. Yeah. It's like people that talk a big game but doesn't do anything about it. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. If or you just said no, I'd be like, cool, that's cool, you know. But like, don't
I
tell
think
me.
I think it's an I think probably it's a self thing. They're not willing to be to
Honest
show
with
off
themselves?
to show off their honest self.
So you think that comes with like maybe insecurity too?
Yeah.
Like they want to be.
Yeah, I think it's
like
yeah.
accepted.
Yeah. It's
But
very
don't they
much a thing.
realize like for sure. But don't
Mhm.
you realize that in doing that, it's like it makes me look less. Makes me look more down upon you for doing
But
that.
that's not how they're thinking it, right? They don't see that.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Like they want to
Like, go on.
be they want to be in the in crowd, but they don't realize that. But by not being themselves, you're just a follower.
Ooh. Maybe that's what it is. Authenticity. Like not being yourself. Because like, what is that thing that irks me?
Mm.
It's like maybe it's authenticity.
Mhm.
It's like if you said no, it's authentic. It's like, yeah, man, no, cool. I know what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
But if you're like, you say yes, but we all know it's a no, then it's like,
Just tell the
You're
truth.
being
Just be
authentic.
yourself.
yeah,
Like,
right.
why-
Like, bro, you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. All good.
Yeah.
Just don't tell me you're gonna go do it. And I'm like waiting for you, and I'm like, you know,
Yeah.